Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It is in fact that time again. Today I have 10 more amazing Nintendo Switch games that I think everybody needs to check out. They're a lot of fun and you're going to enjoy them. That's why they're going to be on this list. My name is Robot Joe and I'm your host as always. Let's go ahead and get started. That is right, we're back with 10 more awesome Switch games that you need to play. Before we get started, make sure you hit a like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram so we can keep this community growing. Remember, at 4,000 subscribers, we're giving away a Switch game, and at 500 followers on Instagram, another Switch game. I drop a video every single day, and whoever I'm seeing in the comments the most, I'm going to be in favor of giving the Switch game to them because I truly do appreciate the support. So drop some likes and some comments down below. But all that aside, let's get into these awesome Switch games. So a game that I don't know how didn't make this list sooner is Celeste. This game is truly phenomenal. It is just an amazing work of art. Celeste takes place on Celeste Mountain, which features several areas, including an abandoned city and resort, and is seemingly haunted, housing many strange occurrences. Madeline, a young woman who serves as the protagonist, spontaneously decides to climb Celeste Mountain to regain self-esteem and stubbornly persist until she reaches the mountain summit. It truly is one of the best 2D platformers I think I've ever seen. There's a lot more than meets the eye. It gets kind of deep, the story's really good, it has a really good message, but this game can get hard. It can get tricky, and I think if you're just looking strictly off the graphics or maybe the art style, you're going to be in for a surprise. I've always been interested in finding cool 3D platformers ever since playing Mario 64, wondering how can I recreate this feeling? Is that ever going to be possible? Well, the game that I think probably has done that closest to me recently is A Hat in Time. This truly is a remarkable 3D platformer. It's wonderful, it's magical. I think this game is really special and kind of a little underrated. In A Hat in Time, you play as a tiny space traveling girl with a big top hat. Her adventure is halted with all her fuel. The timepieces is lost, scattered across a nearby planet. Hat Kid must now jump, fight, and stitch new hats to make her way into every nook and cranny of this new world in order to restore her fuel and resume her journey. On her way, she'll bump into the menacing mafia of cooks, the goofy birds of Deadbird Studio, the spooky shadows of Subcon Forest, and more. I don't remember how I first learned about this game, but when I first seen it, I was like, oh man, that game looks awesome. I can't wait to see when this is coming out. And then I did a little bit of research and it turns out it had been out for a while. And I don't know how it missed me, but this game is not something you want to overlook, especially if you're a fan of 3D platformers. This is a must play. One cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is there's games from every kind of genre. Inside is a game that's multi-genre. It's kind of hard to define it. It's a little creepy, but the story and the gameplay is something very, very special. I guess you would call it a puzzle platformer. You're an unnamed boy who explores a surreal and mostly monochromatic environment presented in like 2.5D gameplay. While running through a forest, he encounters masked guards with flashlights, as well as vehicles with mounted spotlights and fierce guard dogs. He escapes the guards, then crosses a road where a block has been set up with more vehicles and guards, to a farm where parasitic worms cause pigs to run rampant. This game really does give me an unsettling feeling when playing it, but it's a game that once you start playing it, you can't put it down. I don't know what it is, and the crazy thing is, I truly don't even think I'm a fan of like the horror genre, but this game just seems so much more than that. It's creepy, but you want to know what's going to happen next. You want to know what this boy is doing, where he's going. And another cool thing about this game is it truly is always on sale on the eShop for like $2. And at that price, this is a no-brainer. This is definitely something you need to check out. So one of the coolest games on the Nintendo 64 was Pokemon Snap. And I always thought it was a distant memory. Like, yeah, that was a cool time. It was something to cherish, but that's it. That wasn't until new Pokemon Snap arrived. This game really does capture all those old feelings of Pokemon Snap from back in the day and adds a new element to it. And I think this is an underrated game. I know it's Pokemon. Pokemon is super popular. I think people thought, okay, Pokemon Snap is here. That's gimmicky, and just said cool and moved on. This is a really cool game. Let's say 10 different people play this game. We take the same route and we see the same Pokemon, and our challenge is all to take a picture of the same Pokemon. All 10 people, in theory, will have a different picture. You kind of have to get the Pokemon to interact with you, to get good angles of them, and I think the game actually gets pretty deep in the gameplay. It's a lot of fun. I guess at the base, it's just you taking pictures of Pokemon, but yeah, this is a sleeper hit. This game was freaking awesome, and I recommend it to Pokemon fans, or just fans of really cool, weird games. Whenever I made a video about the top ranked Switch games, I was kind of surprised to see some of the games that made that list, and Tetris Effect Connected was in the top 10 highest ranked Switch games of all time. And I guess it was for good reason. I could say this is just a Tetris game, but I kinda would be lying because it's a lot more than that. I don't know how you can elevate something as great and as simple as something like Tetris, but they truly did it in this game. Tetris Effect Connected is Tetris like you've never seen or heard it or felt it before. An incredibly addictive, unique, and breathtakingly gorgeous reinvention of one of the most popular puzzle games of all time. You have music, backgrounds, sounds, special effects, truly everything that perfectly sync with how you're playing. This game has over 30 stages and 10 different modes, so it's something you'll want to keep playing over and over again to experience every different kind of effect that you can experience. I just always thought some stuff was not supposed to be changed. How can you fix something like Tetris and make it better? Some stuff is supposed to be left alone. And that's what I would have thought until seeing and playing this game, because this is the definitive version of Tetris now. Another game that is truly amazing, and you can always find it for cheap on the eShop, is Metro2033 Redux. This is one of the greatest shooting games on the Switch, and I would argue just one of the greatest games on the Switch that kind of gets overlooked often. In 2013, the world was devastated by an apocalyptic event, annihilating almost all mankind and turning the Earth's surface into a poisonous wasteland. A handful of survivors took refuge in the depths of Moscow underground, and human civilization entered a new dark age. You have never ventured beyond the city limits. One fateful event sparks a desperate mission to the heart of the metro system to warn the remnants of mankind of a terrible impending threat. This game truly is great, and for any fan of first-person shooters or kind of shooters that bend around to the horror genre, this is the perfect game for you. And I truly can't believe it is cheap as it always is, because it just runs and looks and plays great on the Switch. Yeah, that's it. Just check this game out, play it. You're gonna come thank me later in the comments. And this is me from the future saying, you're welcome. So Pokemon gets all the love. And I know Pokemon is the dominant force now, but I've always been a fan of both. I like Pokemon and I like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution is one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Games I've ever played. I bought this game on day one. I was super excited for it, and I've been playing it ever since. It takes you through every different series of Yu-Gi-Oh! From the start all the way up until now, and you can play as the characters, you can fight all the characters, you can go through each storyline. Like what I like to do is become my own duelist, pick my own deck, and battle all the people from the show, and you feel like you're the master duelist. And I think it does a great job of retelling the storylines in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I always thought Yu-Gi-Oh! Had better stories than Pokemon, but the Pokemon games and the cards were just more massive, so that's what people focused on. But yeah, I go back and watch Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time now. The story is really, really good, and it's cool, man. When you summon Exodia, you feel badass. There's no other better feeling than that. So I know this is a niche entry in this video, but if you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or card games, this is a no-brainer. It's a must-play. So another game that arguably could have been on my first top 10 Switch game list is Dead Cells. You explore a vast, ever-changing island filled with secrets, branching paths, and challenging foes. You have silky smooth controls and fast-paced combat that are undeniably enjoyable. They make each run more addictive than the next as you progress and unlock permanent upgrades. So basically what Dead Cells is an action-adventure game where you explore an island and finish the game in one run without dying. Each run is different as the island changes every time you die, but don't worry. Each time you die, you'll gain new resources and unlock permanent upgrades, making you stronger, giving you access to more weapons and items, and even revealing new levels and paths to explore. So it's a game that you just want to keep playing and keep playing and keep playing because it just keeps changing and it keeps adding onto the game. Recently, they just had Castlevania DLC added to this, and it is just such a badass add-on that it really took this game to the next level. And I would kind of admit that Dead Cells is the standard for 2D action platformers. So how long is a minute? I mean, time is all relative, right? A minute to me might be different than it is on Mars, but that's all irrelevant because the game we're talking about is in fact called Minit, and you only have a minute, and not a Mars minute, an Earth minute. Like I said, the game is called Minit, and it's an adventure you play in 60 seconds at a time. Journey outside the comfort of your home to help unusual folk, uncover countless secrets, and overcome dangerous foes, all in hopes of lifting a rather unfortunate curse that ends each day after just 1 minute. So every time you play this game, you legit have 60 seconds. So you come outside of your house, you figure something out, and you say, all right, boom, a minute. You start in your house again. Then you're going to come out of your house, you're going to go a different direction, you're going to figure out something else. And I know it seems like a minute isn't a lot to get stuff done, but the way they've built this game is you really do feel like refreshed. Every time a minute starts over, you're like, all right, I figured that out. Now I'm going to go in this direction. Now I'm going to go in this direction. And you really do start uncovering some really cool stuff. I don't know. This is just a phenomenal freaking game. It's one of the greatest concepts I've seen in a game that doesn't get too stale or tiring. They do it perfectly. And yeah, Minit is a must play. When talking about the best games on any console, it's normally going to be the big 3D platformers or the huge first party stuff. But I like to go deep and dive into weird, different games. And a game that everybody should try is called Unavowed. A demon possessed you 1 year ago. Since that day, you unwillingly tore up the trail of bloodshed through New York City. Waking up on a stormy rooftop, you meet your saviors, the Unavowed, an ancient society dedicated to stopping evil. Life as you knew it is over, but joining them, you have a chance to reverse some of the damage you've done. So this game is again genre bending, like it's kind of point and click. It's kind of a puzzle platformer. It's kind of a action game. I don't know. It's a lot going on. One, I think the graphics are beautiful, but they can kind of look one-dimensional. Like what you see is what you get, but it's not that at all. This is a freaking amazing game. I would like to challenge everybody that just plays normally platformers or first-person shooters or something to step outside of your comfort zone. This game is going to be the perfect game to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, there was 10 more Switch games that I hope you check out. In the comments below, let me know what games need to be on the next list. And remember, if you enjoy gaming news, gaming stories, and Nintendo Switch content, then you're in the right place. So down below, hit a like and subscribe, drop some comments, follow me on Instagram. Giveaways are coming soon, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.